Good evening, everyone. My name is Spencer Good. I proudly serve as the Youth Vice Chair of the Livingston County Republican Party. And tonight we are joined by three young men who are running to be the next Youth Vice Chair of the Michigan Republican Party. With convention right around the corner, we are excited to showcase their campaigns as you, the delegates, make your decision going into Saturday. I'd like to turn it over to Deb Drick, who is the chairwoman of the Livingston County Republican Party, to give her opening remarks.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, first of all, welcome. Spencer, can I have everybody's faces? I'm talking to faces this big and my eyes are old. So I'd like to see the young men I'm speaking to. So if you could just shrink that screen there for a minute and let me see their faces, that would be helpful. Welcome, welcome. We're really excited to have you here. We're glad you were able to come and you were able to accommodate the different time. I think we all know, by now, we all know the horrific interruption of Joe Selle's campaign. So I appreciate you working with us. We agonized over several different mediums in which to do this, that we wouldn't be comfortable, and settled on doing it this way. So once this recording is done, unedited, you'll get it right away and you'll be able to share it any way you want to share it. We'll put it on our public pages, and we'll put it on the district page, and you can share it anywhere you want to share it. It's going to be totally up to you. I think I want to start by clearing up some issues that we may have. And let's just, if we can, Spencer, can you get rid of that thing and just give me faces? Just give me 5 faces. Stop
Deb,
sharing the screen for
I
just a second. I want to be able to see people's faces. I feel like I'm talking to it. There we go. Just like that. Perfect. Perfect. So now I can see everybody now. Thank you. Thank you for catering to that. You can bring it up in a let me just talk a little bit about the elephant in the middle of the room here. And that is, you are not prohibited to talk about anything you want to talk about. This is your time to talk. If you want to talk about the absence of our fourth candidate, you are free to do so. If you want to ask me questions, I'll answer them. If you want to disagree with me, you're entitled. I don't get, I'm not a person that gets threatened by disagreement. And it's sometimes a good thing to talk about, because I learn, you learn, we all learn, and it just is a good thing. So conversation is a good thing, in my opinion. Civil discourse, even if it's in disagreement, is a good thing. And I will tell you something, I know for a fact, unity isn't when everybody agrees. It's when people disagree and then stand together anyway. That's what unity is. So I'm a big person about unity, regardless of whether I believe that I agree or not. So in this particular case, we made a decision, and if you have questions, if you have something you want to say, if you have something you want to ask me, you have no fear of doing so. So if you want to start there, I will answer whatever question you want, or I will listen to whatever your thoughts are. So let's go there first. Anybody?
I just want to speak real quick.
Sure.
I respect the decisions made. I just want to make a statement about censorship real quick.
Okay.
I believe I am the most conservative candidate for youth chair. And when I started off my campaign, there were a lot of hit pieces that came out from far left extremists trying to cancel me, saying they're in shock and fear, and they demanded that people censor me and people do not give me a platform, because if I take over, I'm to ride the youth and build a great platform. And so all I want to say is that we have to be very careful that when we are, if people of any kind of blackballing or gatekeeping or canceling of people, because I understand there's a concern about liberals infiltrating the GOP and stuff, and I agree. But I think the best way to deal with these things is to address them head first, give them a platform, but then expose them on that same platform. Bombard them all kinds of questions. That's what I would do, but I would be very careful, because I think it's a slippery slope. And if we censor people who are too moderate, the left will censor people who are too extreme. And we know when they call people extreme, I'm just a typical conservative man that's advocating for views that my father and my grandfathers believed in 40 years ago. So anyway, I just want to put that out there, and otherwise I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very excited to work with the Livingston County GOP on this.
Let me speak to that just for a second here. there's censorship, and then there's not inviting somebody to your party or not inviting someone to your platform. I don't believe that a minister owes a Muslim or a Jew the right to come up to their podium and speak. I'm not saying he is an enemy. I am saying he did, he didn't work with a Democrat candidate to get or a representative to get a bill passed. He campaigned. That was a campaign. That was, in his words, a support. I know his opponent, in that race. And I know that hundreds and hundreds of people work and put in thousands of dollars to get majority back. And when I saw that, and I was bombarded with that image, and I had to make a tough call. I have not gone anywhere public with this. I've not taken that picture and spread it around and tried to stomp on his campaign. I haven't sent an email out with any of this stuff. I owed my EC an explanation of what we did. I owed Spencer an explanation, but Spencer, this was there were many people that I spoke to before we made this decision. And so there was no intent, and which is why I've not responded to any of this stuff, because it is not my intent to go stop his campaign or hurt him in any way. I feel, frankly, he's probably hurting himself. You are under no threat to talk about this. He isn't under no threat. I've never threatened him at all. And I mean, is the proof there? Sure. Because if I would have promised him that I would ruin him or I would go public, that's what I would have done. I have not. So there you are. That's, as a matter of fact, that's what he promised me if I kept through this, and his actions speak for themselves. So it is what it is. And I made that decision. And I feel like I had good reason, not because I'm afraid of him or not because I tanked his campaign. I knew none of you. I knew of none of you. And that was a concern of ours. Nobody in our area knew of these youth candidates, or not very many of them. So that's why we encouraged Spencer to do this, so we could get to know you. So this was nothing like that. So no threats, no, we tried to handle this quietly. So, this would be between just him and whoever he decided to share it with. And turns out that was the word. So it is what it is. So, and that's okay that you disagree. And I hear what you're saying. I really do. And I'm not a big fan of censorship, and we certainly have not stopped him from talking, and we certainly have not stopped him from sending out his emails on whether it's for his campaign or against me. Either way, he is speaking, he is talking, he's certainly created a platform for himself. So it's just not my platform. I don't agree with what happened, and that's it. So I'm trying to shrink this into what it really is. It's not this great big thing. But I like I said, I respect any disagreement, and that's just fine.
I'd just like to quickly say that I'm not saying that the decision that was made was correct, but we're all guests on your platform. First of all, thank you for hosting this, to you and Spencer both. And I'd just like to say that whatever decision was made, I'm sure it comes with a lot of thinking behind it. It wasn't taken lightly. I'm sure you expected a lot of kickback from it as well. So I'd like to say that thank you for giving us this platform, and we look forward to, I'm sure all three of us look forward to earning the votes of the Livingston County delegates and whoever sees this.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Perfect. And like I said, agreeing is not mandatory. You don't have to. It's sometimes, and as in leadership, you learn. I taught leadership for 27 years here for a local program. And one thing I told people that sometimes in leadership, you have to make hard choices, and you might as well learn this now. Sometimes your choices come down to this. You take a bite out of the rotten apple, or you take a bite out of the rotten orange, and that's how it works. And you just gotta pick what fits with your principles or whatever you stand for or whatever, and then you just keep going. So Miguel, you've been quiet over there. You have something you want to add, or question, or thought? Either way.
Yeah, of course. Well, I was boots on the ground with the Republican candidate heavily, trying to get him across the finish line. And I'm still very, very close with that Republican candidate. I go over to his house every single week. And I think I can speak.
This is Mr. Andy Shaver?
Yep,
okay.
Andy Shaver. I spend almost every single Sunday with him and his family both.
Okay.
Lovely people. But what I will say is to Krish and Alex's point, that I believe that we may disagree on this, but Mr. Asher should have been given the opportunity to speak and at least get the fire away at the questions that he might have received.
I did consider that, and I will tell you the one reason I
Yeah.
did not, because I felt like the entire thing would have been taken over with a Asher with that attack, and I didn't want that. I didn't want the attack. So anyway, it is what it is. Rotten apple, rotten orange. I had to choose one, and I chose the one that you would not have, or maybe not in my position. It's amazing when you're actually in the position how you think about things differently. So, okay, is that if you have other questions or statements you want to make on the topic, we can discuss them, or we can move on to the forum, whichever you'd like. Hearing
I
none,
say we can move
oh, go ahead.
on.
You
I
okay.
say we can move on.
Okay. Hearing no objections to that, I hereby turn it back over to Spencer, and I relegate myself to timer lady or stopwatch lady. So
Thanks,
go ahead,
Deb.
Spencer. Change the screen to the way you like it now.
I will. I think it's in our best interest for you to hit record on your end, just in case there's any snafus on mine.
Oh dear. All right. Let's see. Where is that? Oh. I found it, and then I lost it again because you told me you were going to do it. So hold on. Let me find it.
I'm recording on my end just to back up. You never know.
Oh, there we go. Record. Okay.
All right. Well,
I'm
without
recording too.
further
Go ahead.
ado, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Livingston County Republican Party's Youth Vice Chair candidate forum. I'm excited to give these three guys an opportunity to convince you, the delegates, why they are the next Youth Vice Chair of the Michigan Republican Party. As previously discussed, for the first question, the order will be Alec, Krish, Miguel, and then that order will rotate throughout the forum. I will ask each candidate the question, signaling their turn to speak. The time limit is on the slide with the question, and Deb will be keeping track of how long you have spoken for, giving you a 10-second warning before your time is up. So with that said, the first question is, please introduce yourself. Why are you running for MIGOP Youth Vice Chair? What experience do you bring to the table? Alec, you're up first.
Thank you. I am Alec Beaton, and first of all, I was the St. Clair County GOP Youth Chair, and I was also the District 9 Youth Captain under Riley Linting. And a lot of my work entails building chapters at all these universities. I built chapters at SC4, Oakland University, Macomb Community College. I even built one or helped build one at the Marysville High School. And a lot of youth, a big part of being youth chair is college activism and building up these chapters at the college level. And the current infrastructure that I see of the college Republicans, I wouldn't say that it's at its top doing its best. I think that a big problem right now is that you have other organizations like Tournament USA that are doing really, really good. I'll give you an example. At U of M, Jackie Eubanks there 1 or 2 years ago and got over 450 students signed up using their infrastructure. The CR chapters there, the same week, got only 40 people signed up. And I asked them, I said, why is this? And they have no idea. They basically concluded maybe it was an energy issue, maybe it was a training issue. The CR infrastructure is not doing as good because they do not have activism kits. They do not give out as much funding, maybe on occasion for campaigns, but they do not focus on chapter building. When you make a chapter for the CRs, you are on your own. When you make a chapter for Tournament USA, you are provided infrastructure, resources, managers. So when I become the youth chair and why I'm running is I want to build up the CRs and make them more powerful. A big infrastructure that I want to utilize is the CRA infrastructure. It stands for the College Republicans of America. They've got leadership training, they've got activism kits, they have speakers lists. They are very conservative. They were the first CR organization to endorse Trump before anyone else did. They invited Barron Trump at NYU to be a chapter president. They would fix all of these issues. It's like Turning Point, except for the CRs, which is great because Turning Point USA can't endorse candidates. They can't mobilize for candidates. They can't support candidates. The CRs can. So CRA, I think, is a big I think they resolved that issue. And even if we didn't use the CRAs, we just need youth here who can micromanage these chapters and build them up and appoint regional directors and work with the district youth chairs and the county youth chairs to build up these chapters at every single university.
Thanks, Alec. All right, now turning to Krish.
All right.
Please,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Krish.
All right. My name is Krish Matharani. That's Krish. I'm running for youth chair because it's been just a name for too long. We need someone in there that's not running on promises, but is running on results and has a background of results. The experience I bring to the table to answer the question is at 18 years old, I started a political consulting company that was geared towards helping conservative win down the ballot. Some of my big wins were Sonny Reddy, who ran for Wayne State Board of Governor, all the way down the ballot to local school board candidates. And last election cycle, we delivered over 20 wins. And with that, I have an extensive amount of fundraising experience. I've raised more than $500,000 for conservative candidates down the ballot, over $35,000 for Gleaners Food Bank here in Metro Detroit. So I know what the college Republicans need, and I have the extensive results-driven background to deliver them the resources needed to succeed. And the college Republicans have actually grown a lot this last year. We have college Republicans at all 10 big universities, as well as the smaller schools, the Christian schools. And I'm proud to be endorsed by the Michigan Federation of College Republicans. They know that I have the background and the plans necessary to deliver results and not just make empty promises. A little bit about my background is I'm also the founder of Students for Vivek Ramaswamy on TikTok, and I have over 30 million unique viewers. Again, results driven. I was able to create a platform where even President Trump, his campaign team, as well as Vivek's campaign team, worked with me to do events at college campuses across this country. So I know how to deliver our message to the next generation. And I know how to reform our party to create a party that's going to fight for the next generation. We need to get to the college campuses, get to the high schools, get to the trade schools, and really share our message. And like I said, I'm results driven. The youth chair position has been just a name for too long. We need someone in there that has a record of delivering not just promises, but results, and will continue to do so for the next 2 years and hopefully beyond that.
Perfect.
Thanks, Krish. All right, Miguel, your turn.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me tonight. My name is Miguel Pilar. I am a candidate to become your next youth chair of this amazing party, the Michigan Republican Party. I got my start back in politics about 10 plus years ago, helping out state representatives in my neck of the woods, knocking doors, making phone calls, being in their parades. And then in 2020, I joined a congressional race, had great experience there. And then in 2020, I was part of Garrett Soldano's campaign when he ran for governor of this amazing state. After that, I joined the Tom Barrett campaign when he ran for Congress, not only in 2022, but also 2024. Ever since 2022, I've been a part of the largest conservative organization in America, Turning Point Action, where I travel the state every single day, talking to students left and right to get them more involved in politics. I've knocked over 50,000 doors, made nearly 200,000 phone calls, hosted 50 Get Out the Vote events for President Trump with the help of Trump Force 47, and hosted over 8,000 student attendees with the help of Turning Point Action down in Detroit this last summer for our largest conservative event of the summer, the People's Convention. Why I'm running for Michigan Youth Vice Chair is because I'm seeing the lack of young people within the Michigan Republican Party, and I can't wait to share the plan on how to engage, identify, inspire, and mobilize the next generation of Republicans as the next youth chair of the Michigan Republican Party.
Perfect.
All right, we'll move on to our second question with Krish answering first. The second question is, many young people describe themselves as apolitical, as in they don't care about politics. So what is your message to them? How will you encourage youth that don't care about politics and encourage them to join the Republican movement?
All right. So with this question, I guess it's twofold. I'd start with the high school level. I have an extensive plan to engage the high school internship opportunities and volunteer credit. No matter with what organization, they're always trying to get that credit and build a resume. So if we create a platform where city council members all the way up to state representatives and state senators can post different internship opportunities to get involved in their office, get involved in their district, what will happen is we'll have an influx of young people getting involved in their local governments, learning about what the real conservative message is and what the conservative elected officials are fighting for, rather than listening to the media bias. That's automatically going to get them engaged in the political system and get them to realize how important of a system it is and how important it is to get involved. And if we start them at a young age, they will stay involved and stay conservative. That's a big thing. And we also need to recruit. We need to get younger people involved as precinct delegates. Most of my friends in college don't even know what a precinct delegate is. We need to go to the college campuses and set up precinct delegate drives to get young people involved in our party at a young age to make decisions in our party so they feel important. If we get them to feel important and involved in our party, they'll stay conservative and stay involved and realize how important of a voice they have. So that's a twofold answer, I think. There's a lot more we can do. I have an extensive plan with trade school students as well, getting them involved with their local county parties. They're often conservative. Union workers, union students are often conservative, as well as homeschooling parents.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
It's like the Grammys. After you've spoken too long, the music plays. All right, Miguel, you're up
Better
next.
than the hook.
I'll just repeat the question. Many young people describe themselves as apolitical or not interested in politics. So what is your message to them, and how will you encourage them to join our Republican movement? Miguel?
Yeah, of course. Well, that is a great question. And thank you so much for asking that. We definitely have to meet these students where they are. And by getting them involved with the Republican Party before they're even eligible to vote, we got to not only focus on college students, but also high school students as well. And also homeschoolers. We have to meet them where they are by youth-centered events. Two examples that I give are at football games or Bible studies. Let's turn that passion for football and the Lord into action by joining the Michigan Republican Party. An example that I will also give is my stepbrother, who just voted for the first time, not political whatsoever. I'm the one in the family that talks about politics nonstop. He had a couple buddies over a couple months ago, and we were just passing the football around. And without, getting too much into a political conversation, I just asked, how do you guys enjoy the gas prices right now? And they all started talking about, oh my gosh, we need to get President Trump back in office. And without that, I met them where they were by, interacting with them and not trying to make it a political conversation, but engaging with them. And ultimately, they all signed up to become precinct delegates. So we're just meeting them where they are.
The Lord in football sounds like a Sunday in my household. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Alec, your turn.
Thank you. So I'm going to address this in two ways. First of all, I want to address political thought. A big way you get young people involved who are apolitical is you have to have energy. You have to have charisma. You have to make it seem revolutionary, that it is imperative that they get involved to save this country. If you don't have the energy, if you're not aggressive when you go tabling to get them involved, say, we have to save this country, taxes are going up, COVID lockdowns are happening, they are not going to care. And that's why I got involved. I looked around me and saw mass immigration was going on. Biden won this rigged election. I'd get involved and help out. Now, that's just to get moderates involved, get them motivated, get them more interested. Another way of getting them involved is through events. When I do tabling, sometimes what we'll do is we'll have something like axe throwing on the side. So if you get involved in sign up, you can throw an axe, and we'll spin it up by putting like a face of Biden or Whitmer or Harris on, or we'll do like a dunk tank with someone dressed as Joe Biden. You want to reel them in to get them involved because they see these things. Even if you do a table and you get a box of Timbits and say, hey, if you sign up, you get a Timbit, that's good enough. Now, to pull them into the GOP, because that's the point of the youth chairs, is to get youth involved in the GOP. It's going to be a lot of campaigns, a lot of internships, especially among high schoolers. A lot of high schoolers are in tech programs, and they have to take community service. They have to take community service experience in order to pass certain programs and stuff. So a lot of ways they could do that is through internships, through volunteering, and but to start doing that stuff, you need to mobilize them. It's through these college chapters, it's through high school chapters that you build the infrastructure, you build the chapters to get them involved and get them interested to have these opportunities. And like I said, you have to make it seem like their life depends on it. And I'm not wrong when I say that's not a lie. That's the fact of the matter. They have to understand that if they grow up and do nothing, their children are going to go to schools learning about, dare I say this, gay sex. I hate to say it, but that's just true. And they have to understand, they have to get involved. They have to fight for their children and for their grandchildren and for everyone beyond that, because that's what our founding fathers fought for and died for. Thank you.
Spencer, I'm going to ask that after the Spencer, I'm going to come in here for just a second. When you ask this next question, show it for a second, and then could you get rid of it? So I feel like we're going to be sending a recording of a big question and little bitty faces. So I just as soon bring everybody's faces. So as they answer them, people can see them. Will that work?
I'm happy to do that, Deb. I'm looking
Sure.
at everybody's faces right now. So I think the screen recording on my laptop will also show everyone's faces, but I'll leave it up to the candidates.
Okay, because all I see is your question, and then I see a little bar across the top with faces. Maybe there's a different way maybe it's my setup or something, but I feel like your screen is taken over and the faces are little. What do you guys see? Do you see big faces or do you see big screen?
So there's a button that says view. If you click on that and click multi-speaker or gallery, I think it'll change it for you. Try that.
Yeah, remember, I'm old.
Yeah, there's like,
where is view?
I think if you
top right.
way up there. Way up there. Oh, look at that. Multi-speaker.
All right.
Well, you're still little. You're still little in that big thing, but it's better. At least I can see your faces a little bit. Side by side gallery, you can see that. All right, that's better. It's better. At least I can see your faces.
All right. Well, looks like we solved that issue. And if there's no other concerns, I'll move us to question 3. Okay, starting with Miguel. What is your strategy to build relationships at the local level? And how will you work with county Republican parties, such as the Livingston County Republican Party, to win elections?
Yeah, and that is such a great question. I wish I could go into it a little bit more, but I've been working with county Republican parties for nearly the last 2+ years to get more young people involved in politics. I travel the entire state every single day connecting with county leadership right now to connect more young people involved. So I want to continue those relationships, build new ones, plug the students with Operation Gen Z, plug them in with their local county chairs, and create a clear path for youth leadership within those counties. I want to consistently have a conversation not only with the young people that are getting engaged and involved with our counties, but also the county leadership and how I can be assistance to them. I have already, like I said, I've been traveling the state every single day of the week, connecting with our local county chairs, and that won't stop as your next youth chair. But in order to win these Republican party, in order for us to win, we got to get more youth involved and engaged. So again, connecting more youth within the county GOPs and seeing how I can bring help with my tools, resources, and relationships to the local county GOPs so we can have a winning message, winning strategy going forward.
All right. Thank you, Miguel.
Perfect.
Alec, you are up next.
Yeah. So I remember when I was a local youth chair at my Single County GOP, there was no guidebook. There was no one that reached out. I was kind of out in the wind. And this thing happened when I built my chapter for Turning Point. Even with Turning Point's great infrastructure, the field rep that I had wasn't active. So I think as the state youth chair, we have to build relationships with the youth chairs of every county GOP. If there isn't one for a county GOP, then we have to find one. Okay, I want to get the district youth chair to try and find one. If there isn't a district youth chair, that's an even bigger problem. Get a district youth chair elected, get them to figure it out. And even if there isn't, I would appoint regional directors to do the same. We need to get youth chairs at every single level so that we have people organizing these youth and getting the manpower to win elections. The big thing about the youth is that they are young, they are energetic, they can knock hundreds of doors, thousands of doors, they have a lot of energy, and that is why they are so important in these elections. And so we have to build chapters at every university. And let's say, for instance, for your GOP, you're probably closer to Oakland University. Okay, if we have a chapter there with maybe 100 active CRs and you run a campaign, we could get not even a quarter of them on the campaign in Livingston County GOP to win races. That's the whole point of the youth chairs, to mobilize the youth, get them involved, get them engaged, and get them interested. And if you have chapters nearby at universities and it's within like a 30-minute driving distance, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are going to do it for free. I did a lot of my campaigns for free. Sometimes they're paid. It's very easy to do. I mean, I drove hours for campaigns. There are youth that will drive across the state at 19, 20 years old to do these things. I don't encourage that. I prefer people closer, but you have to build relationships with the youth chairs, district youth chairs, and I think we should also appoint regional youth chairs on an even larger scale to build this infrastructure to ensure that at every level there is something going on at every campaign has young people involved, that we are involved, and that we maximize our efforts for the youth to stay involved in these campaigns and win these elections.
Thank you. I was paying attention to what you said, not the timer. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, Krish.
All right. So with my background of running and working on campaigns, I enjoy local politics a lot more. I ran like in my city of Troy, which is a very blue city. The first ever campaign I ran, we won by 42 votes, getting the first locally elected conservative elected. So I have a lot of experience running local campaigns, and I enjoy that a lot. And I think if we get young people, like if we look at school board candidates and city council candidates, the thing they struggle with the most is getting the volunteers to door knock and get involved in their campaign. If we get these young people to work on these campaigns, that's going to help the MIGOP build a strong relationship with these county parties. And when I was running Sonny Reddy's campaign, same thing. We hit every single county. We did that by building a good relationship with the county leadership. I know Deb, we haven't worked a lot together. I look forward to working with you regardless if I win or lose. And Livingston County is just such an important county for our state. And then the third thing is I have extensive background hosting events. I hosted events for Vivek Ramaswamy, fundraisers for him, where we had hundreds of people show up. Democrats show up too to learn about what the Republican Party stands for. So I think we need to bring these big speakers to all the counties, even the counties that are often ignored. I'm in Oakland County, so we get a lot of the spotlight. But when we go outside of Oakland County, not many of these big people show up. We can get Barron Trump and a lot of these other people to show up. And the fourth thing is I look forward, if I win, that I'm going to work with all of the youth chair candidates. It's a unique problem to have so many young people running for something, we don't usually have this. And so since we have this opportunity of seeing these young people running for this, with Miguel and Alec and James, I look forward to working with them. It's very difficult for a volunteer youth chair to run the entire youth for the entire state of Michigan. So by splitting the state up and working together, I look forward to creating a lot of progress for our state.
I'm paying such close attention to what you guys saying. I'm just totally blowing off the stuff. The good thing that music is there.
Yeah.
You guys are all giving great answers. I'm appreciating your responses.
All right, we'll move on to question 4. And Alec, you will answer it first. Give an example of a time where you encountered a barrier to advancing the Republican cause. How did you respond to this situation? Describe your problem-solving skills. What lessons did you learn that will help as youth vice chair? You'll see that this is a 3-minute question. Alec, I'll give you just a second, Alec, to read through the question. It has a few parts. Trying to see how nimble you guys are.
Yeah. I'll answer it right now. So a problem that I faced, I kind of touched on this, was that I was under Turning Point USA, and they're infamous for their great infrastructure, and they've got the great field reps and activism kits, and they're so popular. Well, when I was the SC4 Turning Point USA chapter president, chairman, and founder, I hosted a speakers event for Ishmael Hernandez, and I was promised that they would help me table, they would assist, and it ended up that I had to do all the tabling because my field rep was busy. Well, matters got worse. I was on a few trips for CPAC and New York Republican stuff, and I had to have my friends get the venue at the college, and they were delaying it. And so we had this issue where for weeks we didn't know what time, what day, because they kept delaying the event. So it was an obstacle that we faced. And a lot of people said I should just cancel, I should just give up, I should reschedule. I said no. I said this is April. This is the last time I host a speakers event. I've been meaning this for the entire year that I've had this chapter. Let's get this done. So the day of the event, Brooke, who was my fielder, was supposed to be there, and she was not there. And I ended up just saying, like, screw this. We'll just proceed anyway, even if we don't have the banners. We have the microphone, we have the cameras ready, and we have all the people that are coming. We had to keep on changing the date and the time, and we had about 40 students show up and sign up to this event. But I had to do the speaking. I had to accommodate the speaker himself. I was totally independent mode, and it's just never give up in a situation like that to advance the conservative cause. Other issues that I face with organizations like Turning Point USA is, like, for instance, we'll have stipends to go to events like AmFest, go to events like ACCON, SAS, CLS. And there have been times where my friends did not have stipends, or they were not given stipends. They applied, but there wasn't enough money. Or maybe they got a stipend, but it was only like $100, and they did like $350, and I'd have to accommodate them. I'd have to say, all right, well, I'll give you this much. You owe me, but here you go. Stuff like that I'd face, and every time that I face any kind of adversaries, any kind of opposition, you never give up. Even with the hit pieces. I want to also say that I've been swatted on this campaign. In August, when I was working on the Trump campaign, I was swatted by far-left radical extremists. I have video footage of it all. My dad was harassed over text messages. Emails are going up saying, shock and fear, Alex Beaton is rising up, and he is a threat to the Republican Party because of his far-right views. He's a Catholic, he's a Christian, he's a nationalist. It's a bunch of far-left garbage. And I stood up and addressed it, and I said, this is all true, but it's all good things. These are not bad things. And just never give up. Fight, 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 no matter how hard they go. They're going to have to kill me if they want to stop me from running for youth chair. So,
well, that's a good ending.
Thank you.
All right. It is now Krish's turn, which I will read the question one more time just to keep it fresh in your guys' minds. Give an example of a time where you encountered a barrier to advancing the Republican cause. How did you respond to this situation? Tell us about your problem-solving skills. And what lessons did you learn that will help you as Youth Vice Chair of the Michigan Republican Party?
All right. So I love local politics, as I've mentioned. I am from the city of Troy. It's the largest city in Oakland County. It's also one of the most blue cities in Oakland County. And in my city, the leftist woke school board administration has decided to remove the advanced and honors programs in the middle schools and the high schools. So their agenda is to dumb the students down so that the GPAs look better and so that they look like they've done a better job. And we had over 200 parents show up to the school board meetings to fight against this. We had Democrats and Republicans fighting against it, but the school board still passed this message. And I was 17 years old at the time. I was in high school, and when I saw this, and I was worried about my little brother not having the opportunities that I did, I took a stand against it. I was the only student there fighting against it. And our party stands for good education. It stands for continuing to challenge people and not forgetting about the top 10%. So I responded to the situation by mobilizing young people and mobilizing people of all backgrounds. We were able to file recall petitions for our four school board members that were on there, and get the movement, get the young people, and get the community riled up, regardless of your political background, to fight against all this nonsense and garbage going on. And this last election cycle, we got all three incumbents on the school board to lose their reelection. And we were able to flip the school board in a blue city and get good conservatives elected. And we did this by building bridges with all communities, with young people, and getting them to vote for the messaging and not just looking at the party and getting shut off. So I'll continue to do this as youth chair. We need to educate the youth and people of all backgrounds on what the Republican Party really stands for. We stand for lower taxes, cheaper, being able to afford a house, cheaper gas. We want better education. All of these things, not just what the woke media pushes down everyone's throat. I had a pride flag in every single classroom growing up in this school district. We were able to change that. And we did this by creating bridges with all people of all backgrounds, regardless of your political identity. There's issues that we can work on together, and that is how we unite. But as we talked about at the start of the Zoom call, that is how we unite, by finding the issues that we all believe in, and really mobilizing the youth, getting them involved with issues that they care about, issues that will matter to them in their future. And so I think this is a fantastic question, and I plan to continue to do so once I'm elected.
Music.
All right, Krish, right on time. Miguel, finish off this question for us.
Yeah, of course. One of my barriers that I have commonly came in with advocating for the Republican cause would be knocking on so many doors that were Democratic doors that the app would show me that, hey, it's a Republican door, but that person might have moved, so now it's a Democrat lives there instead of a Republican. And so I got into so many arguments regarding this. And why are you coming to my door? And I only vote Democrat at this, and this is why. And I would just have a conversation with them. They would be screaming in my face, and I would say, "Hey, I can leave if you would like, but I would love to understand why you're supporting this candidate over this specific person." And so we would just have a cordial conversation after they got heated. Some people didn't want to talk, which I completely understood. But just having that cordial conversation, talking about our differences, meeting in the middle, about where we stand politically, and which candidate we would have a great little debate on the front porch. But what I learned from having so many conversations like this was that people can have different opinions than you, and you may not have to agree, but in the end, you have to work together for the betterment of the cause, whether you may disagree with them on some issues or not. Some ways that this could benefit me as the next youth vice chair is already going into it, knowing that, you're not always going to agree with the person on the other Republican candidate or the Democrat on the other side, but working together potentially for the betterment of the future of not only the Republican Party, but the future of the country.
Got a whole nother minute. You want to use it, or are you done?
I think I'm done.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with a concise statement. And I heard in everyone's answer a mention of unity, which leads into our next question to be answered first by Krish. How do you handle conflict? Share an example of a time where you resolved conflict. And what does unity look like to you?
So this is a great question, especially in the Michigan GOP. I handle conflict very well. I think I've been very very open with my views, and but have been able to create bridges with people of all different views, all different backgrounds, especially in our party. I've been very neutral. I have worked with all of our chair candidates that are running for the MIGOP chair, and I have extensive background with them and built a lot of their trust. So I think that I'll be a unifying youth chair, and I look forward to being a positive and unifying youth chair. An example of conflict would probably be in college. I think I've noticed that there was a lot of different conservative groups, and I honestly struggled to know which to go to and which to work with. And I think that's a problem that a lot of youth feel that is a big problem, because our state party doesn't really work with a specific youth group. At Turning Point events, you don't see Michigan GOP stuff, and there's always, Turning Point usually is always against having the Michigan GOP get involved with their events, and then the CRs are always the college Republicans are always looking for support, so that creates a lot of conflict because our state party doesn't do enough for the different groups. So my message would be that the state party gets involved with all of the youth groups and tries to combine, because we're all working for the same message. We all want to get young people involved, to get Republicans to win elections, and that's how I go to Michigan State University, and we were able to elect Tom Barrett because the college Republicans worked their tails off and knocked at thousands of doors and got involved in his campaign, and he credits the college Republicans to his victory. That is what unity looks like: working with all backgrounds, all campaigns, and getting people involved regardless.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Krish. Miguel, your turn.
Perfect. I will say that we do have to unify, and I play the neutral playing card when it comes to our state party politics. Just because I do have people on both sides of the Republican Party that I work with, and I don't want to burn bridges. To this, how do we handle conflict is that we have to unify by coming together, collaborating, like it's Republican like-minded organizations that are going to get the young people out to vote, not only in 2026, but for future election cycles as well. I'm proud to be partnering with other like-minded Republican organizations such as Students for Life and Youth for Christ to get their collaboration and work together to better the Republican Party by getting the students involved. It's going to take not only Turning Point USA chapters, college Republican chapters, but all like-minded Republican organizations working together to better the future of this great party and this great country. Yes.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Thank you, Miguel. Alec?
Be advised, I am at 1%, so if I crash, no, it's because my battery died and I'll try to come back. But I want to answer the question, and before my phone dies, if it does, how I've handled conflict is just being nice and respectful to people. There are some CRs who do not, for whatever reason, agree with me on bringing in the CRAs, and that's fine. I listen to them. I work with them. I talk to Tyler. He's a critic of mine. He endorsed Krish and a couple other guys. And when there's conflict, you have to be nice. You have to listen to what they have to say. And I have to admit, like, as much as I say that the CRs, when I first got started, weren't doing so good, they have done better. And I know that at Wayne State University, they have built a great chapter there. Ty's done a great job. He's got the activism kids. He's got everything figured out. But at the end of the day, I'll work with anyone regardless. Another example is James Asher. He is the most moderate candidate in the race. Some would even say he might be liberal, whatever. And I have a great relationship with him because at the end of the day, it's about chemistry. It's about energy. If you have the energy, if you're willing to sit down with anyone, with sinners, whatever, and work with them regardless, people will like you. If you have that energy, if you're a likable person, it won't matter what your views are. They will work with you. They will speak with you. And I will work with every youth vice chair candidate regardless of whether I win or lose. Because at the end of the day, unity is what builds this country. It's what built this country in the very beginning with the 13 colonies unified against Britain. And we have to remember that. And if we are not unified, we will collapse. So no matter what your ideology is on the right, we all have the same agenda. We all are fighting for the same beliefs, and everyone must understand and know that. What I want to do is build coalitions between every organization. I want to build coalitions with Turning Point USA. I want to build coalitions with Yale. I want to build coalitions with the YAF. I want to build a CR infrastructure and give them a boost for the GOP, but I also want to work with other infrastructures. Other infrastructures are doing great work. Turning USA has done great work educating the youth. We need an infrastructure that will build the youth and mobilize the youth.
I like how you guys just kind of like tail off perfectly to that music.
Looks like we've got some experienced candidates with us tonight,
do.
Deb.
Look at-
They've been working hard on the campaign
Yeah,
trail
they
and
know their
hearing good
stuff,
things.
don't they?
All right,
I'm trying to. We're hoping to throw you with some questions nobody else is asking, but we're tanking here.
Well, we've got two more. Let's see if we
Okay. All right.
stump them, but I'm inclined to believe they're gonna.
I don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to stump them, but we just want to get some new information. So we're trying not to ask you the same questions everybody else is. I don't know how we're doing. Go ahead.
All right, Miguel, you're up first. Question 6. What are your long-term goals and how will serving as youth vice chair help you achieve them?
Yes, of course. Well, this is a great question. It is just to ask, is this like politically long-term goals,
Where will
or as in the capacity as youth chair?
Whatever you think that the youth vice chair will help you achieve. If that's typically
Okay,
that would be
perfect.
political, but it's up to you.
Feel free to answer
Okay,
however
yeah,
you want.
yeah, of course. I just wanted to clarify there for a second. Really, I haven't thought about my long-term goals. I like to think about the future, but in this current moment in time, I haven't thought about long-term goals as well. I really want to focus on getting more youth involved. It's been a big priority of mine for the last several years, getting more young people involved, whether that's in Marquette, Traverse City, or Mount Pleasant, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Downriver. Eventually, maybe one day I would like to run for political office, but at this moment in time, I'm focused on getting more young people involved because we are the future of the Republican Party and we must have a seat at the table, not only in 2026, but for future elections as well. Here in the great state of Michigan, 40% of Gen Zers modeled the Republican ticket, and it was partially or primarily because of the work that Turning Point Action did with the help of Trump Force 47. Michigan was the only state in the entire nation to work where Turning Point Action and the Trump Force 47 team worked hand in hand to make sure that President Trump got across the finish line, as well as our state house candidates.
Perfect.
Thanks, Miguel. Looks like we still have Alec with us. Alec, what are your long-term goals? How will serving as youth chair help you achieve them?
So my long-term goal is to build a infrastructure for the colleges, even eventually for the high schools, as the youth chair. We have infrastructures for Turning Point. We have infrastructures for other organizations, but the CRs don't really have that good of an infrastructure. And as I said earlier in the conversation, there are good CR chapters that exist that are doing okay. They have strong, good leaders. But at every other university, when they become the chapter president, they are receiving very little help. They're receiving very little support. I want to build an infrastructure that's no longer the case. I want to use my donors. I want to get all these plans figured out and establish an infrastructure that every university, everyone that starts a CR chapter, they have that infrastructure. They're receiving help, they're receiving assistance, they're receiving the resources, the training, and all the things to build up these chapters. They're holding speakers events. They're bringing in speakers from not just Michigan, like Steve Carra and Josh Shriver, but people outside the state, like Charlie Kirk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles. That would be great. We need to build up that effort. And as I said earlier, Turning Point USA has done a great job building infrastructure for themselves, but we need that for the college Republicans, and I have the experience to do it. I've already done it on the east side of the state for St. Clair County and Oakland and Macomb in some areas with Turning Point and whatnot. I want to take that same energy and that same work that I've done for Turning Point and do that for the college Republicans. Like I said, the CRAs have a great infrastructure. We can use their infrastructure to do all these things. It would require very little funding.
Uh-oh, and man down.
Well,
He has to plug back in. We owe him 27 seconds.
we'll give Alec just a second to return and we'll yield over his time if he does, but
Sure.
at least he got through most of the question. Krish, stay ready. Just to clarify the question, feel free to speak to your long-term goals as youth vice chair, but also your personal long-term goals are where will Krish be in 20 years? Go ahead, Krish.
Is it my turn to speak? Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm the youngest candidate running for youth chair. I'm 18 years old. I'm a freshman in college. So what we've seen with the youth chair position is it's been just a name for people to make promises and sound good. And it hasn't been used to actually deliver results. And I can promise that I'm not using this as a stepping stool to run for higher office. I'm not, I'm running for this position because I'm genuinely worried about our state. I'm a lifelong Michigander. I plan to stay here and live here my whole life, and be involved in politics here my whole life. So, I'm running for this position, and I want to be the next youth chair because the youth in colleges, I've felt so isolated being a conservative in high school and in college. I don't think any other conservative should feel isolated. We need to do more to activate and create communities at the colleges and the high schools so that other conservative students have a place to go and create brainstorm and create a network of other like-minded conservative students. So to answer the question, my long-term goals in the future, I continue to plan on working on campaigns, continue to work, in the background, helping good conservatives get elected, and continuing to fight for our great state. And as youth chair, my plan is, like I said, the college Republicans are endorsing me because they know that I have the plan in mind that they need. I have the extensive fundraising background, the extensive connections and resources. Like I can call Vivek Ramaswamy and get an event set up in the next month. So they need someone like that that's well connected and has the experience to host events and has had such high leadership experience to continue to do so. So that is my plan for youth chair.
All right. Deb.
All right. Well, if Alex comes back, we can give him his 30 seconds back on that question, but I would keep going.
Does he appear in the waiting room?
I have not seen anybody in the waiting room. Wait.
All right.
Let's see. That's chat. Nope. Let's see what we got here. Nope, not in the waiting room.
All right. Well, we'll press on ahead. Alec was slated to go first for the next question, but I will let Krish go first in his place. The last question of the candidate form is, a delegate tells you that they are supporting your opponent. How are you going to change their mind? That is, why are you the most qualified candidate for youth vice chair? Maybe I'm the delegate. Convince me right now why I should vote for you instead of for your opponent.
All right, 2 minutes is not enough for this question. But I'm like I've been saying this entire Zoom call, I'm not running on promises, I'm running on results. My extensive background of delivering results for our state, flipping key seats in the House, and as well as local and statewide races. That is why I believe I'm the best candidate for this job. Number one is my fundraising experience. I've raised so much money. I have the trust of the donors, and it's created fruit. It's delivered meaningful campaign victories. Look at judge seats that we flipped, and right here in Oakland County, I was able to help get Sunny Reddy elected to the Wayne State Board of Governors, as well as so many other of these college regions and university regions. And another thing that sets me apart from the other candidates is my extensive social media background. We saw President Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy get on TikTok in the last minute before the election because they knew it was key to delivering the young vote. And I have delivered over 30 million unique viewers on Students for Vivek Ramaswamy on TikTok. I started that as a 16-year-old. They wouldn't hire me on a campaign as a 16-year-old. So I decided to take it in my own hands. And I created a big, a big platform. And President Trump's team was so impressed by this that we did events at college campuses across this country with their campaign. So that's, again, me delivering results. Because I'm passionate about the youth and getting them encouraged and involved. And the third thing that sets me apart is, like I said, I'm 18 years old. I'm not doing this to build my resume. I'm doing this because I care about the youth and the next generation. I have the most extensive background with working with all the chair candidates. I work with Senator Runstead a lot with the Indian American community. We gave him the Friend of the Indian Community Award. I've worked with Mashawn Maddock a lot on the Trump campaign, helping President Trump out, and I've worked with Ambassador Zella a lot, and since I've met him, and I'll continue to do so with whoever wins. So that is what sets me apart.
All right, Miguel, same question. A delegate tells you that they are voting for your opponent. How are you going to change their mind in only 2 minutes? Tell the delegates why you are the most qualified candidate for Youth Vice Chair.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for having all of us on today. And thank you so much for taking the time. I think what sets me apart from all my opponents is that I have already traveled the entire state of Michigan, not just once, but multiple times throughout the course of the last several years, connecting and engaging with not only their local GOPs, but also the students on campus. I'm a part of Turning Point Action, the largest conservative organization in America, and just making that connection and already helping out state candidates in their neck of the woods. And so sorry, but already making these relationships that are so crucial for the future of this state. Like I've said, I've worked all across the state of Michigan, not only for Turning Point Action, but also other candidates as well, helping out key state representative candidates all neck of the woods. I live over in Grand Rapids, but drove over to State Representative Riley Linton's neck of the woods a couple of times throughout the course of her campaign, knocking doors, making phone calls. I did the same over in Traverse City, in my neck of the woods, over in Livingston County for Brian Ignatowski, just helping out every candidate, whether you're running for city council all the way up to President of the United States. And my background speaks for itself, but I think that's why a couple of reasons why I am the most qualified. Plus, I am the only one in the race with the tools, resources, and relationships necessary to hit the ground running come day one.
All right.
Hey,
Congratulations to you guys. You have completed the candidate form. It won't be your last before Saturday, I'm sure. I want to thank everyone who has watched this recording for making it a point to inform your vote at convention. We wish you safe travels there. We hope to connect in Detroit. And I think that the future of our party is in good hands with the candidates running for Youth Vice Chair. I was really encouraged by the message of unity, and I fully expect that these guys will work together no matter the outcome on Saturday. Once again, thank you on behalf of the Livingston County Republican Party.
I was impressed. I was very impressed with all three of you. I don't know that we could lose in this particular race. All three of you have a wildly different set of skills and personality and kind of mannerisms. So it's interesting to see how all three of your enthusiasms come out and your experiences. But I don't know that we're going to lose in this particular campaign. So I hope all three of you find me in Livingston County and the 7th District. Oh, look, we got here. All right, we're going to give one more. And he's back. All right. I suppose you want your last questions.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, it happens. You know what It's called being adaptable. You roll with the punches sometimes. So,
Yeah, I'm on 4% now, so
all
I should
right,
be good for the
give
rest
him
of
the
the
last
meeting.
question, Spencer. We'll give you the last question, then you can go.
All right,
Thanks.
Alec, with 4% battery life left, a delegate comes up to you. They tell you that they're going to vote for your opponent in the race for youth vice chair. You have 2 minutes to convince them to vote for you, explaining to them why you're the most qualified candidate.
Sure. I am the most qualified candidate for youth chair because I am the youth choice. I'm funded by the youth. I'm supported by the youth. I'm endorsed by the youth. Young Republican pretty much have their presidents, pretty much staff, precinct delegates, youth chairs, district chairs. The majority of the youth support me. And this is a youth chair position. It's not about raising money. It's not about knocking doors or how much experience you have campaigning for candidates. I have campaigned for candidates. I worked on the Trump campaign. Not many people know that, but I did. The reason why I don't talk about it is because it's not extremely relevant to the youth chair position. So I have ran campaigns, and all the campaigns I've ran are for Gen Z candidates: Jackie Eubanks, Josh Schreiber, Chad Moore. So I think that the most important part about being a youth chair is building these chapters and mobilizing the youth, going to the chapters, going to the colleges, and I've already done it in my area. I've already done it in my county, in my district, and I don't know too much about the others. I know that, for instance, Miguel works closely with Torrent Action, and they're a youth organization. But in terms of like actual chapter building, or even just Young Republican building, I think that I'm the only one that has that experience. And that's a very bold thing to say, but that's just what I believe. That's what I know. That's what others are saying. And that's what I usually tell people is that, look, I'm the youth choice. The youth back me, the youth support me. They have, I brought 20 young people to the Macomb County Election Day dinner during the People's Convention. It's like I bring in the numbers. When I was at DC for the inauguration, I brought 20 young guys to the Maddock after party, or I guess they called the MIGOP, whatever, after party, but then I brought them to the Maddock after party, right? So I bring in all the youth. I have all these connections. I can rally the youth. I can mobilize the youth. I'm the one that can build these chapters and make the Michigan College Republicans active and great again.
Wow. Again, perfect little timing there. That was awesome. Well, again, I was just saying, Alex, before you came back, and I'll try and get it out before you leave us again, that I don't know that Michigan could go wrong. We have three very enthusiastic candidates, and you have all different backgrounds and all different skill sets. So I hope all three of you find us at Livingston County on Friday or Saturday and the 7th District, and we'll love to shake your hand and thank you in person for your participation. And thank you for what you're doing. I've heard lots of experience on, in different ways, and our state needs different ways to do better. So thank you for all your service that you've done so far. Thank you for taking this on. I know what it's like to step up in front of people and speak your piece and have people throw rotten eggs and throw rose petals at the same time. So it's a tough thing to do, but I cannot think of better men to do it. So good for you. And we look forward to meeting you. We look forward to working with all of you, regardless of who wins. Okay, Spencer, you have something you want to
Absolutely.
say?
I'll just echo what you said, Deb. Thank you for the time tonight, gentlemen. Good luck between now and Saturday. Keep up the good, hard work, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. And we will get this recording out to as many delegates, alternates, Republicans as we can find, and we ask that you do the same.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
I'm going
Awesome.
to let
Thanks, guys.
Spencer. I'm going to let Spencer do that. I'm going to keep my hands off. I'm not going to mess this up. We'll let